What we're looking at today is matrix operations. So the main thing we're going to look at today is addition and subtraction. Now, to add two matrices with the same dimensions, add or subtract corresponding elements. So you can write this down if you want. You don't have to write this down, because once we kind of explain through it, it's going to make a whole lot of sense. So, like elements. So here, if we look at adding these two matrices in this example, A is in the top left. And the next one, E is in the top left, so I'm going to do A plus E. B is in the top right, F is in the top right, so I'm going to do B plus F. The corresponding elements, we either add them together or subtract them depending on the operation. Because if we're adding the two matrices together, we add the corresponding elements. If we're subtracting the two matrices, we subtract the corresponding elements. Now the big thing is, the sum or differences of two matrices with different dimensions is undefined. It's not possible. We cannot add or subtract two matrices that do not have the same dimensions. They have to have the same dimensions for us to be able to add or subtract. So let's go on and look at this. So the first example problem we have right there, what are the dimensions of the first matrix that we're adding? What about the other one? Are the dimensions the same? Okay, so we can add the corresponding elements. Well, the first element that we have in the first matrix is 2. Our operation is addition. And what's its corresponding element? Okay, let's move on to the next one. -1 plus 3 plus 0 plus question so far? 2 plus 1 is? -1 plus 2. 3 plus 4 is? 0 plus -2. That's it. Are we ready for the next one? So what are our dimensions of the first matrix? As we do rows by columns, we have 3 rows and 2 columns. How about the next one? We have 3 rows, 2 columns. So we can subtract these because they have the same dimensions. So our first number that we have is 2. Our operation is subtraction. And our corresponding element would be -1. Our next number is -3 minus 2. Let's go down to the next one. 5 minus 4 minus 8. And -2 minus -5. And last but not least, 8 minus 2. And now we can just go on and subtract our terms. 2 minus -1 is the same as 2 plus 1, which gives us 3. -3 minus 2, -5. 5 minus 7 is -2. 4 minus 8 is 2 minus -5, because it's the same as -2 plus 5, which would give us 3. And 8 minus 6 is and that's it. Any questions on any of this here? Let's look at this one. So we can go on and add these two matrices together. So we would have -8 plus 6, yes? And then what? 1 plus -1, and then 3 plus Because 0 is an element. We've had 0 before, yes? So it can't be 0 because 0 is actually a spot. Do we have anything? Well, what's the dimensions of the first one? What's the dimensions of the second one? Are the dimensions the same? No. So this here is, we can say either not possible or undefined. We cannot define it because the dimensions are not the same. For us to be able to add or subtract two matrices, the dimensions have to be the same. They have to be the exact same. So we cannot add a 2 by 3 and a 2 by 2. It just does not work. Because as we see here, there's nothing for that 3 to be added to. There is no element there. All right. Move on to the next one. Perform the indicated operation if possible. Can we add these two together? So what would we be adding? -1 plus 6, and then what? 7 plus -4. 5 plus -8, and -1 plus 6 is 7 plus -4 is 3. 5 plus -8 and 3 plus 2. Any questions on this here? We ready for the next one? Can we add these two together? Because we have a 2 by 1 and a 2 by 1. So we have 2 minus -3 and 5 minus 0. And what is 2 minus -3? Because it's the same as 2 plus 3, which is 5. And 5 minus 0. So our answer is the matrix 5, 5. All right. So we have these two matrices here, and what do we do first? What do we have? And a 1 by 2. So this is a 2 by 1, and this is a 1 by 2. Can we add these together? No, this is not possible because the dimensions are not the exact same. Now, what's interesting is that we could actually multiply these together, and we'll cover multiplication eventually. But this does work for multiplication. It does not work for addition or subtraction. So we can't do this here. Any other questions on this here? Do we need to see another example of addition or subtraction? Do we want to look at another one of these here? We feel comfortable with this here? Okay. So the next thing that we would be covering is scalar operations, but we're going to stop here.